You talked a little bit about the GM. You brought it up quickly. The GM abuse Faerlina drama. So I do have that open as well. We can go into that. So this is the crazy Reddit thread that popped up with all the things and everything. I guess you were there. You want to give a quick summary for people what this was all about?
Yeah, so what ended up happening is there's this guild called Vampire Clan. You may have heard of them, may have not heard of them. They're from private servers. They're notorious for griefing. They are, I want to say like the GM is known by so many people as being somebody who's just he goes around like terrorizing is what he likes to do. He's from like a private server mafia boss kind of guy. He runs the World Boss Coalition on Faerlina. He's the guy that like figured out like the loot distribution. He's the one who calls like the like tells all the other guilds what they should do in world PvP. Basically, mafia boss type guy. When the DMF had been camped multiple times by the Alliance, by Vampire Clan, then the Horde seemed to have had enough of it, and apparently Vampire Clan like wiped some dad guild on Saturday or something, and that was kind of like the last straw for some reason. They decided that they were going to camp Vampire Clan and stop them from having a Monday DMF because they wanted to run 3 DMFs, right? One Monday,
Yeah.
one sometime during the week, and then one time on the next week. So the Horde came together. So many different guilds were sitting outside of Nax Ramus waiting for VC to show up, and VC was on top of a mushroom being summoned. And the Horde couldn't figure out how to get up there. So what ended up happening is the Horde allegedly got a person to fly hack, get on top of the necropolis that goes around Nax Ramus, summoned people up there, and then they jumped down on VC with about 80 mages, was the number I had gotten by people who were actually in that strike squad. The 80 mages died, but the Vampire Clan guys up there was like their raid too. They didn't summon their boys who had like all their buffs and stuff. They're just trying to secure the area. So it looked like it was impossible to secure the area here. And this just ended up being like 12 hours of waiting for VC to show up and try to get into the instance. Now, there's like a lot of like screenshots. The fly hacking became the big thing.
Oh
A
yeah.
GM showed up at one point where he told everybody to vacate the area or get suspended. Apparently, the GM had been getting reports that there were Horde and Alliance, because both sides were reporting each other,
As you do.
that were in quote unquote as one does, that were quote unquote in unreachable areas. And so the GM showed up under the report of both Alliance and Horde are in unreachable areas and told people to get down from there. Now, when the GM arrived, the GM told specifically the Alliance on top of the shroom need to get off the shroom, which that caused the controversy because the Horde were the ones who had fly hacked to the top of the necropolis. And the reason he didn't tell the Horde to get down is because they had already jumped off and died and had the res sick. So there were no Horde in unreachable areas because they weren't on the necropolis anymore. So he told the Alliance to get off of the mushroom. And the Alliance were like, this is fucked up. We're just trying to get into the instance. We're trying to like actually have a PvP solution to this. And that area is not unreachable. The Horde just didn't know how to get there. You can get there from like using Slowfall, Noggin Fogger. It's available to everybody in the game. You don't have to terrain exploit. You don't have to do anything with like alt F4ing and like mounting or anything like that. You literally jump on a bunch of shrooms. You then slow fall towards the shroom. You land on a certain part of it, and then you can jump up. That's really all there is to it. They just didn't know how to do it. There's a video posted in the thread of how to do it, and it shows you. So the Alliance were not in quote unquote unreachable areas, which is why this caused a lot of controversy where it was like, there's a GM inside of the Horde guilds. Like you know how like my guild has a GM in it.
Yeah.
There's a GM in some of the Horde guilds. And so people are kind of suspecting that this was like GM favoritism towards the Horde, where the Alliance were getting in trouble for being in an area that isn't unreachable. It's something that you can get on top of very easily, but the Horde just didn't know how. And we're trying to force them to come down into the Horde. And that's where people are upset about is they're like, this is messed up that the GMs were doing this and targeting the Alliance when the Horde were the ones who were actually cheating. So the GMs, I think, eventually came out later and said that the GM had shown up with reports of both factions and only saw Alliance on top of these things, and he just told both of them to get off of stuff. And then people asked who, and they were like, "Just the Alliance right now. You need to get down from the shroom." And that was what their cover was, is quote unquote. When the GM showed up, there was no longer any Horde or Alliance in unreachable areas. And I was sitting there going, because the ones on top of the shroom had logged off. Like, I don't understand how the GMs don't realize that the people who are in unreachable areas just logged off.
So
Like, I think there's a screenshot of it in there,
yeah.
in that thread, of them saying, like, when they arrived, there was nobody in those areas anymore. And then it's very viewable, like on my stream. There absolutely was people who were there, like right after that. Is insane. Ugh.
Yeah, so I mean I can show people the wait first there's the fly hacker, right? So this is a fly hacker.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna mute this because we don't need that. But yeah,
Mhm.
so
Oh, this is the guy
wait,
showing how to
yeah,
get up there.
yeah. So this is how you legitimately get up there. So you can actually get up
Yeah.
to that. So this isn't like a terrain exploit or anything. It's just it's a little bit of a jumping thing and slow
Mhm.
falling and things that you do. So you can totally get up here legit. And I've been up there myself as well. It's a common summoning spot actually for a lot of top guilds. A lot of people use this spot. So it's not
Mhm. We're mad because it's our summoning spot, and people were accusing us of summoning them up there, which uh, turns out turns out somebody in our raid did summon them up there, but it wasn't them. So they had been hacked, and their account had been compromised, and so somebody from VC had
Jesus.
used somebody in our guild's summoner to actually summon up there, which was another extra piece of drama where it looked like we had summoned them up there, but we absolutely had not. We had nothing to gain from helping VC.
Jesus
So
Christ.
that guy had to change his account info and stuff. So yeah, just extra drama on top of everything.
Okay, wait. I think this one this is the
But yeah,
this is fly hacking
there's no.
here. There's
We
that
obviously don't want to compromise our summoning spot right before
before yeah.
like a tournament and a DMF. Like, why would we do that? It's actually like that's
Okay, here we
insane
go.
to me.
Here's a guy. So for people that are watching the stream, you can see here's the fly hacker guy, like where my mouse is.
Mhm.
Just jumping through the air.
Yep.
Oh,
Is it
legit
Sumbro
just
4 or
jumping through
whatever?
the air. Yeah.
Yeah. Sumbro 4.
Just jumping through the air, just casual walk. Casual walk. So yeah, I mean you pretty much summarized a lot of this and they used all of these spots to get above above everyone basically. They were up here. Wait, let me see. It shows yeah. So then they start
Yeah.
summoning people above that as well. I assume the fly hacker guy is gonna get banned or is banned already at this point. Who
No
knows?
idea.
It sounds to me like the problem was that the GM just didn't do any work. He just kind of turned up and he's like, okay, well this seems like a big kerfuffle. We're just gonna tell everyone to go away and
Yeah,
that's gonna be our solution.
exactly. GM told people to leave the area or face suspension. Nobody left. Like, they all stood there like for
Well,
hours
why
and
don't we
hours.
just don't listen to him and just
Yeah,
log
what
off
if we just
instead?
don't listen and log? He can't ban all of us. And then the next thing that happened was the GM actually eventually teleported the summoners on top of the necropolis off. And this is like my favorite part.
So this is all the
This is when the
mages just
horde.
hopping down.
Yeah, this is where there was about 80 mages apparently. There's a perspective. I have a perspective somewhere of like the mage actually in the strike squad up above jumping down. Um, but there was like 80 mages versus this VC group. But if you look at who survived at the end, it's the paladins. So with batching and server lag, yeah, 80 mages versus like 38 mages or 36 mages. The 36 mages win because they just everything gets delivered in the same batch window, and all of them end up dying at the same time. Some of those mages also took like 1,000 damage and fall damage because you had to fall once and then you jumped again. So all the mages coming down have like 3/4 HP, but the paladins just bubble through the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, and all the mages had to use their potion on lip when they were jumping down too, so they're at another disadvantage there.
So I mean, the question is, did this end up working? Like, what was the end result of all this stuff? Did anything happen?
So what ended up happening is VC eventually. I don't think it's like streamed any. I don't think it's anywhere here.
Yeah.
Um, because people don't care about the resolution of this. They care about like the whole drama between the GMs and everything. I streamed it where there's a outsider's POV of the run-in. I don't know what that is. What's the one down there that's the outsider's POV of the run-in?
Horde point of view. Oh, this
Oh,
one. Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Is this
yeah.
it?
So this is where they ran in. Okay, yeah. So this is where somebody was watching. So you can see there's Horde on top of the ziggurat. There's a bunch of Alliance right there.
Holy
Then
shit.
all the Alliance jump down, and they go in two waves. They go in the wave where it's mages, paladins, warriors. Warriors shield wall, create space. Mages go in, sapper, arcane explosion, blast wave. Paladins go in, you bop your mages, you bubble, and you just try to create space, and you just spam whatever heal you can. And then all of the raid for VC that needs to zone in runs in. And on their side of the server, right, on client side, they're running in. On server side, they're still up on the shroom. So if you're spamming like purge on them, it's not working.
Yeah.
And so allegedly, and I checked the logs, 36 of the 40 people made it in with buffs. So despite 12 hours of this, only 4 to 5 people didn't make it in with buffs.
So all that to get like 4 people.
Yep, because they lagged the server when they actually got in combat. There were too many people there for the servers to handle. This is literally what's going on right now. Is people are standing in place running. You see like people on the shroom taking like arcane explosion animations, right?
Yeah.
Because they're actually down on the floor. Like there was too many people there for the servers to handle, and they eventually did get their run in.
So people in chat are saying that VC used Light of a Loon potentially.
I mean, I have no clue if they use Light of a Loon. Maybe 1 or 2 people who were like really wanting to get in, because VC is the type of guild to do that, where they're like, because they're such notorious griefers, their honor and their pride is in being ungriefable themselves. If you can fuck with VC, then like VC kind of lose their power. But like it's such a power play from them to be like, you guys can sit out here for 12 hours. You can try and mess with us. We're still gonna get in the instance, and that's what makes like VC so hard to like.
So is this screenshot how many people got
they're
in?
very sweaty. Okay. So
is this VC? I don't know what their names are.
Yeah.
So.
That is VC. Yes, that is VC. That is their raid. Yeah. So they only lost like 6 people.
6, yeah.
Or one person. One person's DC'd. I don't know. So 5 people didn't make it in, and Sifta was probably inside and logged off already because he was probably smart. I don't know. But
Jesus.
yeah, they didn't get any of the tanks. They didn't get. I don't even know if they got anybody who's like a really high prio there. Honestly, maybe they got like a warrior or 2. I don't know some of those names off the top of my head, but the people who like I recognize as like big players like Slippery, Slayer, Joey, like those guys all have their buffs, Davon, all that shit.
So how
they didn't do substantial damage.
How did this affect you guys then, as far as your run? Because your summon spot is compromised now.
We don't know how that's going to work in the future. Unfortunately, we don't know what's going to happen with the shroom spot. The horde seemed chill with us. We were running a GDKP at the same time, which is why I was there on my shaman just watching. And I got a whisper from Hoagie Haven Heroes, which is the biggest alliance or biggest horde guild for context. Is Hoagie Haven Heroes is so large. I think that at one point they had like 8 raids. I think they have like somebody said I think it's like an urban legend where they have like 13 scarab lords or something. But like they have so many people in their guild, so many people that like I think their motto is like one faction, one guild, where eventually no matter what happens,
faction, one guild.
Everyone's going to end up in Hoagie Haven Heroes at some point. One day, all Horde is going to be on Hoagie Haven Heroes, and all the Alliance are going to re-roll and be in Hoagie Haven Heroes. One faction, one guild, and that's Hoagie Haven Heroes. So they're so big. But I remember being there, and I got a whisper that said, your GDKP is greenlit to go in. So my GDKP got summoned on the opposite side of the ziggurat and ran in. And I think we only lost like 1 or 2 people who got purged, but didn't actually die. So we got like, it was one of those things where like an operation, it's like, quote unquote, it's like, you're green lit by the horde to go in. Like, it was like, what the heck's going on? It just sounded so like,
okay,
so professional.
Apparently this is video of VC using Light of a Loon to go in.
Ah. Okay.
God, it's so laggy.
Mm. Yeah, because he's bamming on him. Oh my god.
uh,
Yeah. He's going after your waifu. Yeah. Yeah. You basically want to go after warriors, right? And he's now like going after anybody. How many light of balloons are there? There's a guy with shield wall on. Yeah. Whoa! Yeah. I have that weak aura as well on my shaman. I actually don't purge people. I don't think I've purged a single person to date. Just because I don't want to grief people's buffs. I just think it's a waste of people's time, and I wouldn't want them to waste my time. So why would I waste theirs? No. But it's hard to be a shaman. It's hard to be a shaman that doesn't purge and out there because you always just get killed. And I just stand there and go, wow. See, the thing too is like they will pre-pot everything. Like you look at people's potions, they have like they're fully buffed, they're pre-buffed, all that stuff. That he's got like inspiration on as well. They have arcane protection potions, nature protection potions, all that stuff. And even if you went back to the mage clip, you see all the mages have like frost protection, arcane protection, all those protection potions. Like these guys really care about not being griefed and like kind of flexing, right? So
yeah.
you kind of get like mocked by people in your own guild if you don't like go super sweaty here. Like I can imagine the GM Slippery like mocking someone who didn't get inside, being like, "It's because you didn't do this." It's like, why wouldn't you do this? You're being an idiot. So yeah, it's kind of a thing where you got to be sweaty to really participate in the grief. Like some context as well. I've been griefed by VC before. My GM was trying to get the black bug mount and doing the corruptor in Duskwood, and these are the type of guys who have level 1 naked gnomes at the top where the dragon spawns. And every time you started the corruptor in Duskwood, the guy who, when he does like an AoE, and when somebody dies, he gets bigger and does more damage. So when you started it, a bunch of level 1 naked gnomes jumped off of the top of the thing, jumped into the boss, died. The boss got instantly like 20 stories taller, and then just one shot everybody. So they're the type of guild who like would grieve people that they don't like into the ground, and that's the fun for them.
uh,
Lord.
I've always found it fascinating. We had the same thing in EverQuest as well. There's always a few guilds that are like that. Where they're known as scumbags, but they're also really hard to get because that's part of their thinking is that, well, we're gonna be scumbags, but we're really good at being scumbags at the same time.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of the thing where you know how it's like if you hack Amazon, they hire you kind of thing. That whole all those stories where if you are able to hack a big tech company, they actually offer you a job because you know how to get inside their system, so they want like they think you're valuable. It's kind of like it's why my mods back when I streamed a bunch on Just Chatting, my mods are all shit posters because I hired a bunch of shit poster mods because I was like, they can identify the shit posts immediately. They got an eye for the shit posting. They know when someone's trolling. So all my mods were trolls so they could identify trolls as fast as possible. It was actually like five head. It actually worked out really well for me. Except when I had to have mod meetings. That was not very fun. But so here with VC, it's kind of like, it's hard to grief the griefers because they know how to get by these things. They think about like, what would you have to do to get through somebody who was griefing? What would they have to do to avoid me? And how do I stop that from happening? So VC's pretty good at like thinking about how to get around things, or if somebody was trying to get around their grief, what would they have to do and trying to counter that? So that's like another level game they like to play.
Man, so did anything happen as a result of all this besides like VC got in with almost everyone, it seems,
Yeah.
and were there any bans handed? Did the GM do anything really? He just came out
Not that I
and
know
told
of.
people to just go away?
Well, the only thing I know of is the GM teleported the summoners that were on top of the necropolis down to the ground. That's all I know that happened, that I saw, is they actually teleported the guys down.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Oh,
And
Okay,
then
well,
there's that thing there where it's like blatant favoritism, where there's like multiple employees of Blizzard inside of one of the guilds tweeting about how the griefing is going on and how it's like a good time and stuff. So that was the only thing where people were like, "Oh, a GM's tweeting about this," and I'm like, I'm pretty sure the GM, knew if a fly hacker was like happening. It doesn't mean that they're like, I'm like, what do you expect the GM to do? Like, if I'm a GM in a guild and we're trying to grief, and it gets to a point where somebody like fly hacks, and I'm not directly like related to it in any way, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to G quit on the spot and like lose my raid spot? Am I just supposed to report it? Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to escalate it? Maybe, but it's. I think they're expecting so much from a GM who's like probably not on the clock and at home playing, and playing the same game everyone else
yeah.
is to do something about this. Where I'm like, they probably just send in a ticket on Slack to somebody and say, "Hey, this just happened. You should probably look into this." But like, it's not like they're going to ban their entire guild or faction or like all these people who are like potentially involved. I think people are just outraged that the person who showed up didn't
Yeah,
do their due
he
diligence
just
on the
didn't do his work,
situation.
it seems, yeah.
Yeah. He was just like, "Oh, this is what I see." It was almost like a boomer GM showed up and was kind of like, "Okay, not sure what's going on here. People up there, people up there. Okay, they just clear out, kids, clear out, kids." Like that's all it was. They had no idea what was actually going on. It's like when some kid's getting beat up, right? You walk out in the schoolyard and you're just like, "Okay, everybody break it up. You're all in trouble. This kid getting the shit kicked out of him, you're in trouble too because you're here." Like it's like everyone's in trouble.
Yeah,
You don't
well,
get
it's just like in school when you fight back, you get in a fight and the other guy hits you first,
Mhm,
and then you fight back. It's like, well, what am
mhm.
I supposed to do? He was attacking me,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and then everyone
It's
just
it
gets in
it's
trouble.
exactly like that. So it doesn't feel like justified or anything like that. That's where the unfairness is coming from, I'm sure. But I'm kind of sitting here going like, yeah, they have to have a fast response, but I don't know what the response is there, honestly. Like if I'm in that situation, I'm kind of just like, just teleport the people down from up top and let it play out, which is kind of what they ended up doing, right? In the grand scheme of things, they just teleported the people who were up top down. They didn't end up banning the people on the shroom, right? Despite saying like, vacate the area. Everybody just logged off and then they had logged back in. And said, if we get banned, this is a place that is reachable, not unreachable. And we could like
Contest it, maybe,
basic
and yeah.
yeah, contest it, right? I was gonna say stand against it, but yeah, contest it is the right word. So it felt like what was supposed to happen in the end did happen, minus we don't know what's happened to the the fly hacker.